everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. My name is Sunny. I'm here with my co-host Caleb.
Hello!
And of course, before we get too far in, we want to take just a moment to thank all of you, the Patreons. So, thank you all to Cam Yang, Austin Johnson, Salix, Kane Martin, Gate Guardian Support, HGH Cyber, Marshawn Jones, Witchcrafter Main 2022, Zyphorus, Zephyrus, AD, Aaron Gardner, Anthony, Leela, Branded Fart, Brandon, Cult of the Eldritch Gummy Bear, Damian Zink, Dank Nugs, Invoked Fart, It's Dinomorphia Time, Leedle, Lee, MBT's Big Ol' Butsy, Mountain Man, Owen Alvarado, Pig, Rudolph, Shockmaster Did Nothing Wrong, Sneaky Links, Unbanned Number 95, Konami, Virtually Savior's World, What Does Pot of Greed Do, Zingis Khan, Adamancipator is Tier 1, Max C Solves Combo, Nordic Best Deck, Old Man Red, Ray Powell, and Slaking It Up. Thank you all so much for your continued support, and if you would like to support the podcast through Patreon, you can, of course, find the link in the description down below. And if you would like to support the podcast at no extra cost to you, you can go ahead and find our TCG Player affiliate link in the description down below. And we are ready to announce our new affiliate partnership. We are now partnered with Dragon Shield sleeves and card accessories. So if you ever want some really cool designed sleeves or just good regular solid color sleeves that are hold up very well,
Very high quality.
Absolutely. I don't know if you can hear this this sleeves shuffling, but
oh yeah,
it's good stuff. Good stuff.
I hope you can. We'll know after we're done recording.
Right. So, if you are interested in Dragon Shield sleeves or their wonderful selection of all card game products, be sure to check out. We have an affiliate link in the description down below. It's just like TCG Player. You just click it before you shop, and you just go ahead and shop like you normally would after that, and it costs you nothing extra to go ahead and support the podcast for products you would already be buying. So, Huge thank you to Dragon Shield for sponsoring the program, and of course, again, a huge thank you to all of you, the listeners, for supporting us as much as you do. So, the only other thing that I have left to say is, if you're on Apple, Spotify, anything like that, go ahead and be sure to hit the follow button or subscribe or whatever it's called on those platforms. And if you are already following, be sure to go ahead and tell somebody that you know that you think you would enjoy it. Most of our people that come to the podcast and come in the Discord server or on Twitter and talk with us and even come up to us at events and things like that, they all tell us that they heard about the podcast from a friend. And word of mouth is really a big way about how we get around. So if you could just tell one friend, that would be amazing. I would really appreciate that so much. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into the meat of today's episode.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
Alright, so to start with, let's start with all the new cards. We got a considerable amount of new cards to talk about now, don't we?
Yes.
So first off, we got, 12, I think, when you counted?
It's 10 Blackwing cards.
Yeah, I can remember it was 10, 11, and 12. Yeah, 10 brand new Blackwing cards. Let me tell you, they're pretty good.
Yup. So, yeah, we're going to talk about the new Blackwing cards and then a couple other random cards that got released. And we'll talk more about the actual ban list and the implications a little after.
Yeah.
So, why don't you go ahead and start us off on the Blackwing cards?
Oh, yeah. So, first off, we have a new monster, Blackwing, Verte the Knave. Level 2 Dark Winged Beast Tuner, 800 attack, 0 defense. You can only special summon this card with the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Both of the second effects are hard once per turn. 1. If you control a Blackwing monster other than Blackwing Verte the Knave, you can special summon this card from your hand. So like Bora and Gale do.
Right.
Yeah. 2. During your main phase, you can send this card on the field and one or more Blackwing non-tuners from your deck to the graveyard whose total levels exactly equal 8. And if you special summon a Blackwinged dragon from your extra deck, also you cannot special summon a monster from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except dark monsters.
I think they can live with that.
Listen. Normal summon, activate effect, get a free Blackwing dragon plus a level 6 engrave.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
A level 6 Blackwing. That's pretty dope. If only Blackwing Dragon was a good card. And yes, I am saying that to set up some cards in the future. Note, Vata is Sanskrit for wind.
All right. Next, we have Blackwing Shamal the Sandstorm. Level 4 Dark Winged Beast Tuner Effect Monster. 1600 attack, 0 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1. You can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Place 1 Black Feather Whirlwind from your deck face up in your spell and trap zone.
I wonder what Black Feather Whirlwind does.
When we get there, we get there. Don't make me turn this show around. 2. If a Blackwing Synchro monsters, and or Blackwinged Dragon is special summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, then target 1 Blackwing monster in your graveyard. Add it to your hand, then take 700 damage.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
Fun fact, a Shamal is a hot, dry wind that blows across the Parisian Gulf during the summer.
Parisian is Paris. Persian is like...
my mistake. My bad.
I think the Persian Gulf is somewhere around Saudi Arabia. Don't quote me on that.
We did not.
It's somewhere in the Middle East.
Yeah, we did not do well in our geography classes.
I did great in geography. Just
geography?
It's been a decade.
World geography or U.S. geography?
Yes, I'm good at geography.
Moving on, we have Blackwing Chinook the Snow Strike, level 2 Dark Winged Beast Effect Monster, 100 attack, 700 defense. This is a non-tuner, by the way. You can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. You can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, then target 1 face-up monster opponent controls. Send 1 Blackwing Synchro monster or Blackwing Dragon from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, until the end of this turn, the targeted monster loses 700 attack and its effects are negated. This is a quick effect if you control a Dark Synchro.
Interesting.
From hand or field. I just thought of something hilarious.
Okay.
During standby, you have this thing in your graveyard, flip Call the Haunted.
True.
Do it. Normal summon that Mo-Yi. Do it.
I dare you.
Free negate off of Call the Haunted. That's hilarious. Note, Chinook is the descending warm dry wind on the eastern side of the Rocky Mountains that generally blows from the southwest and can rapidly increase in temperature due to much warmer air it brings. Neat.
Next we have Blackwing Su3 the Illusory Spark. This is a level 4 Dark Winged Beast effect monster with 1400 attack and 1400 defense. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. When this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 card that mentions Blackwinged Dragon from your deck to your hand, except Blackwing Su3 the Illusory Spark. 2. You contribute 1 monster. Special summon 1 Illusory Spark token, which is a Winged Beast Tuner Dark level 2, 700, then take 700 damage. You cannot special summon monsters from the extract the turn you activate this effect, except for Synchro monsters.
Oh no. Note, this card seems to be named after Su3, the dwarf that supports the Dome of Heaven in the south in Norse mythology and associated with southern winds.
Interesting.
Next up, we have Zonda, the Timely Knight, level 6 Dark Winged Beast effect, 2300 attack, 900 defense. You can only use 1 of the second and third effects of this card's name per turn, only once that turn. 1. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Synchros. So 2 and 3 of the ones you can pick one or the other per turn. If this card is normal or special, you can target a monster on the field. Return to the hand. Alright.
Yeah.
3. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon a level 5 or higher Blackwing monster from your hand or deck, then take damage equal to its attack. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Normal summon the level 2 tuner. Activate effect, mill this dude because he's level 6. Get Blackwing Dragon, activate effect to banish to special summon out a level another one.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Note, the Zonda wind is a regional term for the Felon wind that often occurs on the eastern slope of the Andes in Argentina.
Activate Black Whirlwind. Normal summon the Su3 the Illusory Spark.
Mm-hmm.
Add the level 2 guy to hand and use Black Whirlwind to add another one to hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can special summon the level 2.
Activate
and then,
effect.
Yeah.
Get Blackwing Dragon out for free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right. We are on... You just did Zonda, right?
Yeah. So next up would be...
Yep. Black Winged Assault Dragon. Level 10 Dark Dragon Synchro Effect Monster. 3200 attack, 2800 defense.
This is not an assault mode.
Nope, just an Assault Dragon.
Yep.
Materials: 1 tuner Synchro monster and 1 or more non-tuners. Must either be Synchro summoned or special summoned by banishing 1 tuner Synchro monster and 1 Blackwing Dragon from your field and or graveyard. 1. Each time your opponent activates a monster effect, place 1 black feather counter on this card, and if you do, inflict 700 damage to them. 2. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you contribute this card with 4 or more black feather counters, destroy all cards on the field.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty good. I mean, it's basically Masquerade, where it just burns your opponent for 700 every time they activate a monster effect.
And then once you get 4, you can just kind of go, cool, nuke.
Yeah, burn for 28 and nuke the field. Cool.
Or even more, or burn for even more because it doesn't say it as soon as you hit 4. Do
right.
It.
The really cool thing to do would be wait till he gets 8, if he's still on the board when he gets that far, and then your opponent tries to negate it, and you just chain him and do it again because neither of his effects are once per turn.
Yep. Yeah, so you sit there, keep burning them, and then like right before they're about to make a negate or activate an effect to negate him, chain his third effect.
Yeah.
To just nuke the field. Next up, we have, let's see, Blackwing Boris the Evil Wind. Level 6 Winged Beast Synchro Tuner effect monster. So this is a Synchro Tuner. 2400 attack, 1200 defense. Materials: a Dark Tuner and a 1 or more non-tuner monsters. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1. If this card is Synchro summoned, you can send a Blackwing monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, this card's level becomes the monster's. That effect sounds familiar.
Because it does a lot of the same thing that Denglong does.
If this card is Synchro summoned, you send 1 Blackwing monster from your deck to the graveyard.
1 worm monster.
Yeah, but in this case, 1 Blackwing, and then his level becomes that. Isn't there like a legal monster that does that too?
A what? A legal monster?
Yeah, shooting Riser Kaiser Dragon.
No, shooting Riser lets you
mill 1, and then he gets his level reduced by that much.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
Yeah, it is. Right.
2. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can banish a Blackwing monster from your field, face up, or graveyard. Special summon the destroyed monster to your field in defense position. So Goyo at the cost of a tribute as well.
Yes.
This card is named after Boreas.
Field or grave.
Yeah. This card is named after Boreas, the northern wind in Greek mythology.
Yep. Black Feather Whirlwind.
Oh, there's that spell card they were talking about earlier.
Yep. Continuous spell card. Once per turn, if you special summon a Dark Synchro monster from the extra deck, you can target one of your Blackwing monsters or Blackwing Dragon with a lower attack that is banished or in your graveyard. Special summon it. Soft once per turn. Interesting. Once per turn, if a dark monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can remove 1 Black Feather counter from your field instead.
Interesting.
It's okay.
Yeah. Next up, we have a Blackwing Twin Shadow, a normal trap. You can only activate 1 card of this card's name per turn. If you control 2 or more Blackwing monsters, you can activate this card from your hand. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
1. Return 2 of your Blackwing monsters that are banished and or in your graveyard to the deck and or extra deck. A tuner and a non-tuner. Special summon a Blackwing Synchro monster or Blackwing Dragon from your extra deck whose level exactly equals the total levels of the monsters. This is treated as a Synchro summon. So activate this track card your opponent's turn to Synchro summon a Blackwing Synchro monster during your opponent's turn.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
I think so.
Yeah. I'm not entirely... We have like 1 more, but I'm not entirely sure on how useful that would actually be. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, we can find out a little bit more with the next card. Black Shadow Squall. Counter Trap card.
Ooh, Counter Trap.
You can only use 1 of the first and second effects of this card's name per turn and only once that turn. 1. When a spell trap card is activated, you can remove 1 Black Feather counter from your field, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. 2. If you control Blackwing Dragon, you can set this card from your graveyard to your field, but banish it when it leaves the field.
Interesting.
It's a searchable way to stop Dark Ruler.
This is not searchable. It's not a Blackwing card.
Oh.
It's Black Shadow Squall.
No, but it mentions Blackwing Dragon in the card text.
Never mind. Yeah, so there's that card earlier that searched for Okay, cool. No, the Japanese saying for this card seems to be a mashup of Noble Stream, the attack name, and Blackburst. after removing counter effects. In the dub, Shadow Squall Blast was its attack name. Interesting. So yeah, that's all the new Blackwings. I think that they all have a lot of potential. I don't fully understand how it all fits together. I saw one person on Twitter say with 2 cards they were able to pump out like a Tunagate Borload Savage, and a bunch of other stuff. I was like, that's a threatening board for literally 2 cards.
Yeah,
and literally the only one, and literally it's Black Whirlwind plus any name.
Yeah, it's a really interesting combo, honestly.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see how it actually does. All right, so that's it for all the new Blackwing stuff. Next up, we have a V-Jump promo card. You want to read this one out, or should I?
I'll read it out.
Okay.
So this is Wish Dragon, level 2 light dragon effect monster, 700 attack, 100 defense. You can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. You can tribute this card. Special summon 2 dragon tokens. Dragon Earth level 1 attack 0/0. Also, you cannot special monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except level 5 or higher dragon monsters. It's not good.
No, because you can't link it off. There's no point in having one monster split into 2 outside of exactly a link. Well, it does become a 1-card Mud Dragon if it doesn't survive the turn. That's literally it.
Yeah.
That's literally about it. Not a good card.
Moving on.
Lastly, you've got a new Morphtronic Scannon.
Oh, I should have let you do the other one because this card's cool.
That's why I offered. So what I like about it is that the card artwork, it's a Morphtronic who's a 3D printer, 3D printing a different Morphtronic. So it's an Earth Machine. It's an Earth Machine special summon tuner effect. Earth level 6, 1500 attack, 600 defense. Cannot be normal summon or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing one other Morphtronic monster from your hand. This card gains this effect based on its battle position. Attack. Once per turn, you can add a Morphtronic spell or trap from your deck to your hand, then place a card from your hand on top of your deck. Defense. Add a level 4 or lower Morphtronic monster from your graveyard to your hand, then place a card from your hand on top of the deck. It's pretty solid. It nets you a search and a recursion in the same turn on 1 card.
Right.
To be fair, it's a must first be special summon monster, which is what that special summon in its card text was about. So basically that means that the only time is that the first time you special summon, it has to be done by its proper method. To be fair, there was one of those other Morphtronics that was literally add a level 5 or higher Morphtronic. This is the level 5 or higher Morphtronic. So you can add him to hand and then banish the guy off your field. Special. What's up? You giggled.
Oh, nothing.
Okay, fair enough. So that's all the new cards. The Blackwing stuff is
every time I glance at this card, it makes me chuckle.
Fair.
It's just awesome.
Yeah. So like all the new Blackwing stuff is really cool. The Morphtronic is interesting. The fact that it's a special summon monster is...
It's just such a cute card.
I mean, all the Morphtronics are.
No. This one's got some pizzazz about it. It's a 3D printer.
Yeah, 3D printing one of the other Morphtronics.
This guy's got pizzazz. I like this guy.
He's got a lot of chutzpah.
Yeah.
A little je ne sais quoi.
All right. That's enough. That's enough of that. All right. Well, let's take just a moment to thank our sponsor, ETB Games in Alexandria, Louisiana. ETB Games is your one-stop shop for all of your card game needs. They have everything that you need for the games that you love, like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Digimon, and more. They have your deck boxes, they have sleeves, they have playmats, they have binders, they have singles and sealed product for these games that you love so much. They also have everything that you need for all of your tabletop gaming needs. They have the figurines, paint for the figurines, the pre-painted figurines. They have dice, they have tables, they have places to play. They have places to stay and play video games. They have places to stay and hang out and watch that new anime with your friends. They are a wonderful, wonderful place to go in, hang out, and just be with your friends. So, if you are interested in checking them out, be sure to check them out. Their link is in the description down below. Again, that is ETB Games. And with all of that said, let's move on in and talk a little bit about the ban list.
A little bit more now that it's had time to simmer in the back of our heads.
Yeah, so basically, now that we've had time to process some of this, let's go ahead and actually break it down a little bit more than we did, because we put out a little quick reaction episode. It was maybe 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, but most of that was just our gut reaction, very
Right.
visceral, very spur of the moment.
Yes.
You know, now this is our thoughts after we have time to think about it and kind of,
Yeah.
you know.
So now that we've actually had time to think about it and time to really put it all together in our heads, let's take just a moment to talk about what actually moved around on the list itself. So for those wondering, there were a grand total of, I think, 22 cards that moved on the list, if I counted it right.
1, 2, 3,
8 for limited.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23.
23, okay.
20 to 24.
Somewhere in that range.
Yeah, that's a lot of cards that moved.
Right.
And
But
a
how
lot of-
much are they going to actually impact the game?
Well, let's find out. Well,
So, just real quick, the forbidden cards are Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon, Prank Kids Meow Meow Moo, Predaplant Verte Anaconda.
that's
All links.
that's 2 splashable engines that
Yep.
have been heavily hindered.
Actually, technically it's 3, but...
Yeah, but the Prank Kids is more of an actual deck as opposed to just an engine you splash into something. Like, I don't know, Adventure.
Have you seen the Adamantipator Prank Kids deck? They were splashing in a small Prank Kids engine for
Fair.
the Rock synergy.
That is fair because Roxy's is Rock. Yeah. That's fair.
Alright, at limited, you have Jet Synchron, Performer Pal Monkey Board, Red Rose Dragon, Yatagarasu, Crystron Halki Fibrax, Shooting Riser Dragon, Change of Heart, and Time Seal.
Okay, so with Yatagarasu and Time Seal,
I'm gonna read off the rest of the list and then we'll go through it card by card.
okay, that's fair.
Alright, semi-limited. Dynamite Knight, the True Draco Fighter, Cyber Angel Ben 10, Fire Formation Tenki, Pot of Desires, Trickstar Light Stage, Wall of Revealing Light. Unlimited. Night Assailant, Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, Salamangrate Mirage Stalio, A Hero Lives, Salamangrate Circle, and Scapegoat. So, I don't know.
Well, okay, so with Yatagarasu and Time Seal, they've just been kind of power crept. Like, at this point, in order to actually actively Yata lock someone, because you can't do the Chaos Emperor Dragon Yata lock anymore. He's been errated to where it just doesn't work anymore. And so is Songen and Witch of the Black Forest, the 2 ways you get your Yata after Chaos Emperor Dragoning.
Right.
It just doesn't work anymore. So you have to have your opponent have an empty field and then normal summon Yata because you cannot special summon him.
Correct.
Or her. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You can't special summon the crow.
It's a bird!
Yeah, it's a bird with 3 legs.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Yata has 3 legs.
No. That's 1 leg.
In Duels to the Roses, his 3D model, he has 3 legs because he's based off of. I can't think of what he's based off of. He's based off the same thing that Crowmon in Digimon's based off of. As I was saying, it's been power card out. So like now to Yata lock someone, they have to have no cards in hand, empty board, normal summon Yatagarasu, attack. First off, your opponent has to have an empty board, has to have no monsters on board, and no cards in hand. Like, how often is that going to happen? Or on field, because they can't have any spells or traps either. Like, tell me, how often does that happen?
Basically never.
Yeah. And then Time Seal's even worse because it's a trap card, so it's not. So at best, it'll be active on turn 3 to stop your opponent from drawing on turn 4.
I think Time Seal might actually be a little bit more dangerous than Yatagarasu.
That's fair. Part of it because
You know why?
What?
You know why I think that?
I assume because it's a trap card. If your opponent doesn't out it and doesn't kill you.
No.
No?
It's because of the upcoming Labyrinth archetype.
Oh, that's fair. They love the
normal traps.
Yeah.
So, like, theoretically, they could just, like, set it from the deck and activate it.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why they've done that. like unban the time seal is for them.
Maybe. So, Yatagarasu and Time Seal. Honestly, I'm perfectly fine with those being back at 1. Those cards could go to 3 right now and have no issues whatsoever.
Right now, I'm pretty sure Time Seal is probably less useful. Probably shouldn't go to 3 when Labyrinth comes out, because then that's 3 turns they can just say, you don't get a draw.
And I think they can recycle them back from the graveyard too and reuse them.
Yeah, so it's entirely possible that with multiples, you'll just constantly get looped over and over and over.
Right.
And not get a turn.
It is going to make things really difficult playing against that deck, honestly.
Yeah.
Because of the existence of Time Seal, Labyrinth might end up being like one of the best decks. All they have to do is survive turn 1.
Yes. All they have to do is set 5, pass, and survive.
Yeah, that's literally it.
Which is your opponent doesn't have red reboot.
Right.
Well, your opponent has to either not have red reboot, or they have red reboot and you have solemn judgment, or counter, or dark bribe, or something silly,
or counter, and dark bribe, or something silly. Like those aren't already silly.
Musakami Magatama.
Okay.
It's a
I feel like I just got called something.
It's a 6 samurai counter trap.
All right. Let's talk about
Jet Synchron.
I was gonna say Prank Kids Meow Mew.
Oh, okay, fair. Yeah,
I was actually gonna go down the list and talk about them all individually.
Okay, that's fair.
So we can just start with Auroradon.
Fair enough.
Auroradon being banned is interesting because Auroradon, I don't know if it was necessarily the problem card, but I think in conjunction the cards presented a problem together.
Oh yeah, no, it and Halka-Fibrax were... Like, at that point, you either ban Deskbot, or ban Auroradon, or ban the problem card Halk.
Yeah, Deskbot was the next card up on the block. If they're not going to ban Halk...
Or Auroradon.
Deskbot was the next card up on the block.
Yeah. Then they'll just probably find another tuner to use.
Yeah.
And it'll just keep going. Eventually, they'll just ban every tuner in the game, and you can no longer run any Synchro decks outside of Sword Soul, because you can't ban a tuner token!
True.
And also, the Sword Soul tokens keep you from using them for anything outside of Synchro Summoning. So...
They're pretty balanced.
Yeah. Other than that, though, they'd eventually have to ban stuff like Plague Spreader Zombie and...
I think that the deck that this impacts the most is Sword Soul.
Oh, definitely, because it takes out their Auroradon combos. It takes out entire combo lines.
So I see a lot of people saying that this doesn't really impact Sword Soul all that much, and I don't know that I necessarily disagree, but I also don't wholly agree. So with Auroradon combos, it was entirely possible to end on a board of...
Like, there was one time you had against me Herald of the Arclight, Chi-Zhao, Theron.
Yes.
And I think you had the level 10, not Long Yan, the other one.
Cheng-Yang,
yeah.
So you can't do all of that with Baron, but you can do like Chi-Zhao, Herald of the Arclight, and Cheng-Yang with Auroradon, or if your hand is actually a little bit better, I've actually ended on Auroradon, Chi-Zhao, Baron.
It was Drago Berserker was the other Synchro.
Oh, the other
Synchro.
Synchro.
Yeah, it was Baron, Chi-Zhao, Drago Berserker, and Arclight Herald, and I was like, huh.
Yeah, but you can also end on a board basically where you end on like Chi-Zhao, Baron, Cheng-Yang. I mean, no, not Cheng-Yang. Chi-Zhao, Baron, Chao Fang, Auroradon, and Blackout, and then so your opponent is light locked, so they can't Nibiru you, or they also can't, if they're playing a light deck, they can't play the game. Also,
name a light deck.
Drytron.
That's fair. You got me there.
Yeah,
you got me.
So they can't play the game if they're playing a light deck, or they also, even if they start playing into the board, you have Chi-Zhao and Baron negate. You have the Blackout pop, and then once Chao Fang gets destroyed, then you also get to add a tuner from your deck to your hand.
So add
Ecclesia for follow-up, or
yes.
Ash, or Ghost Bell.
Yeah. I was trying to remember Ecclesia, and I couldn't think of the word Ecclesia. It was like... Anyway. But yeah, no, it does... Auroradon Gone does remove a whole lot of possible lines, which is sad, but then they're also not being pigeonholed into those lines.
That's fair, yeah. That's a fair thing to say.
Yeah. Because like, as soon as you make Halka-Fibrax, you become very open to a lot of hand traps.
Yes. You had to be really careful about when you use the Hulk lines.
Yeah, because at that point you're open to Ash, Effect Veiler, Imperm, Chalice, like 3 times in a row.
Yeah, for sure.
And like just you become very vulnerable to any monster gate, because then you just kind of look at your board of Halka Fibrax and go pass.
Yes, or just a Auroradon.
Yeah, depending upon where they decide. Yeah, well, with the Auroradon, it's usually going to hit the Auroradon because they have Token Collector as their negate. Because then when those 3 tokens come out...
Or if they have Imperm Ash, Token Collector... Or Auroradon was actually the better place to hit, because that way they didn't have a secondary way to get into Auroradon and keep the combo going. Because if you did it on Hulk and they had a secondary way to get into Auroradon, like normal summon Despot...
Oh, that's fair.
Then it's just combo anyway.
That's fair. That is fair. And then also Token Collector.
Well, and also, even if you negate the activation of Auroradon's original effect, I believe you not being able to link summon was a condition.
Yeah, not an effect.
Right, so even if you negated Impermed or Veiler the Auroradon, they still couldn't link summon.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Not that that's relevant information anymore, but...
Yeah, exactly. But if they ever decide to pull it back off again, it'll become relevant again.
There you go.
Yeah. So next up would be Meow Meow Mew.
I mean, it was either this or they limit Doodle.
One or the other.
Yeah. I mean, I called for them. This was my hit on the deck.
Does this make Prank Kids completely unplayable?
Yes. And it's not even close.
Well, that was answered quickly. I guess we just move right along then.
I mean, they did what they needed to do, right?
Yeah,
They answered the best adventure decks in the room without hitting adventure.
Yeah. So they can still make their money off adventure. To be fair, they also hit the best deck running adventure, so they're going to lose money on adventure.
Well, Despia can still play adventure,
yeah,
but
Despia,
I don't think it's that great.
Yeah, there's still a lot of decks can still run the adventure stuff and still be fine.
Right.
Far fewer, but they still can. Next card was Predaplant Verte Anaconda.
Yeah. Verte is a necessary hit. This card had to go. In my opinion.
I mean, because DPE's very existence was causing a lot of problems.
Yes.
DPE, and then just the threat of Dragoon. Like, if your opponent made Verte...
I'll admit, I didn't think they were going to do this.
Neither did I, truth be told. I thought they were going to do some other hits like... Celestial, or ban Fusion Destiny, or something along those lines. I was not expecting the Verte ban because all the Despia stuff.
Right.
Which is a Fusion deck. Which would love Verte.
It uses it as a last resort toolbox option.
Yeah. Which they no longer have.
Right.
So it is turned in. So that's, a thing. And like I said, it also eliminates the issue with DPE being teched in literally everything, just about.
Right.
Anything not running Pot of Extravagance. And then the few players still running Red Eyes Dark Dragoon.
Yeah.
The few people still doing it. Some people still did it because they just preferred the negate as opposed to the...
Well, going second, Dragoon was just so much better going second.
Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, that's about all I have to say about it.
I think all these bans were really fair, really probably pretty well deserved. And I don't really have anything negative to say about any of the bans. These are good hits.
Neither do I. And the thing is, I suffered, we both suffered pretty badly from this because I lost Verte.
Yeah.
You lost Hulk.
Well, Auroradon.
Yeah, Auroradon, and I just kind of went, and we both just kind of went, cool!
Yeah, and honestly, the only other card I would have liked to have seen get banned that didn't was Scythe, and I still stand by, even though Verte is banned.
Scythe's existence is still a problem.
There's 2 decks in my mind, 3 decks really, that are still going to be able to Scythe lock really, really easily.
And they are, I'm going to assume one of them is Drytron?
Yes.
Okay. I have no idea who the other one is.
Drytron is the best Scythe lock-in deck in the West.
Now?
Yeah.
PK can do it pretty good.
That was number 2.
Okay, yeah.
And the third one is Fluffle.
Fair enough. Because all 3 decks pack self-inserted, in archetype pop. Just target a card on the field and pop it.
Right. They all feature ways to pop cards.
Which, without DPE, that's... If you don't have an archetype pop, you're kind of relying on your opponent to do it for you. Which, to be fair, has happened for me.
Yeah.
I have literally, in one of my games, literally all I did was set 2, make Verte, activate... No, I activate Future Dice for my hand, set 2, pass. And my opponent kind of looks at it and goes, Harpy's Feather Duster.
Okay.
Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that?
And the reason why I didn't shotgun it during the standby is because this was game 2, and it was a deck that could run Gamma.
Right.
So I was going to wait for him to apply something to the board before I activated it.
Makes sense.
And he Harpy's Feather Duster, and I just went, sure. Effective Scythe? He said an expletive and went, well, you got me.
I still think that Scythe should have gotten hit here. I think that the decks, there are still decks that are going to make it and going to use the Scythe lock, and they're going to do it really consistently.
Especially now that Prank Kids isn't gatekeeping them.
Yes. I still think that Adventure PK is a crazy deck.
It really is. I would probably run it if I didn't have to spend $300 on the adventure package.
Yes. So,
moving right along.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get on into the limits. So, Jet Synchron.
I think it's actually kind of fine as long as Halcyon Auroradon doesn't exist.
Yeah, I guess as long as Halcyon doesn't exist, it's probably like fine. But people don't realize how good this makes the Synchron deck.
Yeah, exactly. This will put the Synchron deck probably into tier 2.
It'll be
way
better than people realize. I don't know if it'll be quite into the rogue category, like if it's like really playable and good, but it is way better than people give it credit for.
Oh yeah, no. If you just kind of laugh and let this thing go full board, and you're sitting there with Ash,
oh, you're dead.
Yeah, they're going to kill you.
Yeah, it'll put up an FTK board through a couple of interruptions.
It's kind of like Code Talker if you don't interrupt them,
or Drytron uninterrupted.
Now when I say Code Talkers, I mean the full. You just got U-linked, and you also have Nightmare Corruptor Ibley on your board.
Yeah,
you can't play the game.
Jet Synchron is a dangerous card.
Very. Fear it. Fear the Synchrons.
Yep. Next we have
Monkey Board.
Off it. Yeah, Monkey Board.
Monkey Board is next. I mean, they've been pulling off Pepe stuff one after the other, letting it simmer, see if it does anything, sees it does nothing, and then pulls another card off.
I'm convinced that Triff is playing non-pendulum decks at big events just so that he doesn't top with Pendulum and doesn't put them on Konami's radar, and they keep pulling stuff off the ban list.
Yeah, and then he's just gonna go. And then he's gonna go. Okay, now's the time.
Yeah,
and then just bring in like full power Pepe.
I just don't think that.
I don't think they're gonna pull off enough to have full powered Pepe anytime soon.
Well, it's not even about full powered Pepe. I mean, the boards that decks put out now are way crazier than full powered Pepe did. But the issue is that pendulums are like dragon rulers in that once you hit a critical mass of the best ones, it just comes out of nowhere. But even with that being said, I just don't know that this deck is real without Electromite.
That's fair. They'd have to get either an Electromite substitute or get Electromite back.
They have an Electromite substitute now,
but it's nowhere near as good.
It's a substitute, not the real thing.
That's fair.
It's not supposed to be near as good. It's supposed to be okay.
Fair enough. Next up is a new ban of Red Rose Dragon. That is for Pile.
New limit.
New limit. My bad. So like the weird Rose Dragon Pile. I don't know why specifically limit Red Rose. Were they? It was my understanding that they only ran one Red Rose anyway.
They ran 3 Red Rose, 1 Rocks Rose.
Okay. I got them mixed up in my head.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. That is entirely fair.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It is fair, but I feel like once the first, they were running 3 for consistency's sake, not for
combo looping.
Right.
So it wasn't a combo hit; it was a consistency hit.
I think so, but the card was really good, and the package was really good.
Yeah. Let's see. Next limit we have Yatagarasu. Can we just lump this in with Time Seal too?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because they're basically the same thing. Okay, so like I was saying before, my issue with Yatagarasu is your opponent has to have no monsters on the field, and then they have no cards in hand, no spells or traps, because they can just activate them. Attack.
Yes.
And then in order for you to Yata Lock, you have to spend your normal summon every single turn in order to Yata Lock. So it's just not feasible, really, in my opinion. Time Seal, as we said before, it's perfectly fine until Labyrinth comes out, because then it might become an issue at more than one.
Yeah.
And even at 1, it might still be an issue because depending upon their board and their hand and what they have and what tools they have access to, they might be able to just loop it over and over, that one over and over and over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
I mean, in theory, they could potentially be dangerous, but I don't know. I think they'll probably be fine.
yeah, again, because a single red reboot ends time seal.
All right, let's talk about the two most puzzling things on the entire list: the limits of Crystron Halki Fibrax and Shooting Riser Dragon.
What decks are running multiple Halka Fibrax?
Some of the Adventure Rose Dragon decks were running them.
So maybe it's a pile hit?
Kinda, sorta, but like not really, because
It's still functional at 1.
not only is it still functional at 1, you already hit the other deck in so many other places that it's not really a necessary hit. It's the same thing with Shooting Riser. Yes, there was, in theory, a combo that was floating around that was possible once Dimension Force came out that utilized multiple Halka Fibraxes and multiple Shooting Risers.
Maybe there was
But it wasn't even that good. The end board wasn't even that crazy. It had tons of interaction points for like a mediocre end board.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe they were just overreacting to the Rose Dragon pile deck.
Maybe. Konami doesn't like it when decks splash a lot of engines into one deck.
Or it's just a lot of good stuff, just a lot of random good cards that just kind of accidentally work together and get smashed together.
Yeah, they don't like that.
Except dragons. They're like, pretty cool with dragons.
Well, they're all dragons.
Exactly. Oh boy. So, let's see. Next card is the Limit of Change of Heart.
I hate this so much.
I kind of like this.
I hate this so much. This is my least favorite move on the entire ban list.
Why is that?
It just feels unnecessary.
I mean, it's a better mind control, which is at 3 and nobody runs.
But it feels unnecessary.
At the same time, it being on the ban list was also now unnecessary. It's just been power crept out. What?
There are other cards that have also been power crept out that could have been ripped off the ban list without much issue.
Oh, I completely agree.
I don't think this was really one of them. There's just no reason to pull this card off the ban list. And even if you make the argument that it's been power crept and that it's not that great, let's look at a card like Snatch Steal. Snatch Steal was peeled off a few years ago. It lasted one format before they immediately rebanned it, which I guess...
Well, the thing about Snatch Steal is it's permanent. As long as that card's on the field, you keep the monster.
Still.
With Change of Heart, at the end of the turn, they get it back.
Still. I mean, it's not like it negates effects or anything like that. It can be used for link material. It can be used for tribute summons. It can be used for synchro material. Whatever you want.
Well, I mean, with Mind Control, it could do all that as well. It just couldn't be tributed. No, yeah, it just couldn't be tributed. You couldn't attack or tribute with Mind Control.
Regardless, it just feels like an unnecessary move.
3 Brain Control, 3 Mind Control, 1 Cult, 1 Change of Heart.
See? 3 enemy controller.
3 enemy controller with Reborn Frog.
Oh my goodness.
Control.
Oh good lord, don't give
Control
me ideas.
squared. Let's go.
Oh gosh.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I don't feel like this was a necessary move. I don't feel like this move accomplished anything to make the game healthier. All it did was add a Saki 1-up to the game. That's unnecessary.
I mean, it's kind of. I kind of feel like it'll kind of be like Regeki, where back when it was at 1, it was a Saki 1-up. Now it's at 3, and nobody cares.
I care when I activate Regeki and my opponent, or when my opponent activates Regeki and I negate and they activate another. It happened to me at one of the regionals and at the YCS.
That's fair. Or that one time I went Dark Luna more Regeki.
I had that happen to me at both of those events also.
Yeah. So moving on to the semi-limits.
So let's start with Fire Formation Tenki. I mean, cool. You destroyed all the consistency of the Zodiac and Tri-Brigade versions of that deck, and it's just fine now.
Cool.
It's like,
now we have 2 cards that you can use to search for Fractal. It's an egg and 5 copies of Fractal instead of 4.
right. Now, Pot of Desires, this feels like a buff to Sword Soul, if anything. Because Sword Soul loves Desires.
It's also buff again. It's also giving Tri Brigade back one of their little tools.
Sure.
It's giving a lot of decks.
It's a consistency boost to the decks that enjoy high consistency. That's all it is. Cyber Angel Ben 10 also feels like a consistency and a power ceiling boost to the Drytron strategy. Now they have ways. I mean, the deck in Archetype searches Scythe.
Yeah.
And then they use the Megalith cards to pop it. I don't know. It feels really good. It feels a little too good, and I don't see a reason to pull Ben 10 off to 2.
At the same time, they also don't have Eva anymore.
Still.
You know, that's the only reason why I'm iffy and not just like this is awful, is because they don't have Eva.
I cannot look at this list and get any vibe other than it feels like Konami is making big changes with each of these lists in the interest of getting us closer to being more in line with the OCG.
That is fair. Next semi-limit was...
Trickstar Light Stage.
Trickstar Light Stage, just peeling a card off that don't really do
It was
anything.
1 card Orcus combo, it was 1 card Dragoon, 1 card DPE.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter anymore.
Because Verte is banned.
Yes.
And then Wall of Revealing Light. There's exactly one deck that I know of that can utilize Wall of Revealing Light. Dynamorphia. Because every other deck is not going to want to use it, because then they just die to Sword Soul immediately.
Right. Next you have Dynamite Knight, the true Draco fighter. This move is okay. I don't love it because I don't like Floodgate decks.
I mean, it gives the Draco deck something.
Yeah, the issue is to hit that deck though, you would need to hit the Floodgates out of it.
Yeah.
Which are just giving it more, so like, what does it matter?
Fair.
So, but I don't think that this deck will be a really legit threat without Masterpiece.
Yeah, it really is a masterpiece. The masterpiece of the deck itself.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Funny joke I make.
Haha, ha 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 ha. Alright, next you have the Unlimits. Night Assailant makes a ton of sense. Night Assailant.
Because it got errated.
Yeah.
No more loops.
Salamaker Mirage Shallow makes a lot of sense because you only ran one anyway. If you were running one.
Yeah. Some people weren't running one. There might be like 1 or 2 people who are like, I really like that extra oomph on the follow up and might run the second one. There's no reason to run 3.
Salamaker at Circle is like probably fine as long as they leave Gazelle at 1.
Yeah. Zelda 2 and Circle 3, we've got a problem.
Yep. A Hero Lives is fine. It doesn't really need to be used in the Dark Warrior decks anymore, and the Hero deck would love to have some more Ash Bait so they don't die quite as hard to hand traps.
Fair.
Next, you have Scapegoat. This card's probably fine. When it was a 1-card Topologic Dragon or like
the band Topologic.
Boral Dragon or whatever it was. Well, it was any like Link 4 basically.
Any Link 4 that didn't require like effect monsters or something goofy.
Right.
Like Boral Sword or whatever.
Right. So, but the thing about it is that it just allows you to link climb so easily, but you have to wait until your second turn. So you have to set it, wait for your opponent to do their entire turn, hope the card stays, and then during your end phase activate it, because by nature you can't special summon. And there's just other ways to build big boards without this card these days.
Exactly. And no one was running it at 2.
Right. And the last card here is Trishula. I don't like the Trishula Unlimit.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a reason to unlimit this card. 1, it's a cool card that nets you some advantage or board breaks.
Serious advantage.
Yeah. At 3, though, it just feels like it's primed to be used for loops, brother, loops. Without an errata. Especially
with the I forgot what it's called, the new Trishula.
It's a new Trishula?
Yeah. On death, it special summons the old one.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, like literally, it's a level 10, and then on death, it special summons the old Trishula, and then buffs its stats so it matches the stats of the new one.
Oh yeah, I have no idea. But
then you also get the triple banish off of Trishula.
I don't know. I don't love this list. I think there are a lot of really questionable moves. And a lot of the moves they made just are not impactful in the slightest. You know, there's 20 some odd cards on this list. And I feel like the vast majority of it is just fluff.
Yeah,
you
a
know?
lot of it seems either to be one of three things: A, fluff; B, just trying to get us in line with the OCG list; and C, just they did actually hit some problem cards, I will admit.
I think like 10 of these cards are actually like...
Okay, yeah, that was a good hit. That was something they should have done.
Right. I mean, I can look at the Auroradon, the Meowmoo, the Anaconda, Jet Synchron, Monkey Board, Change of Heart, Ben 10, Tenki, Desires. These are all cards that them moving around on the list
Does something.
Circle, same thing. Right, it accomplishes something. But the vast majority of these don't accomplish anything.
Yeah, like the Trisha Unlimit, as far as I know, it's probably not going to matter unless someone figures out.
You can loop it in VW.
Never mind, you can loop it in VW. So
Yeah.
Gave VW a buff.
Yeah, I don't see the point of a lot of the things on this list.
Unless they were planning on redoing, giving Trishula an errata. Like, the only way I think you could errata Trishula is that it has to banish.
Just make it a hard once per turn.
Yeah, either make it a hard once per turn or require that it has to banish something on hand, field, and grave. So if there's not something in the grave, can't do it. Not something on field, can't do it. Not something in hand, can't do it.
Right.
Instead of,
Okay, well, let's go ahead. I forgot to post the last podcast question of the day because... I know, I'm the worst. But this week, today's podcast question of the day will be, what is one change you dislike about the new ban list? Let us know what you think over on Twitter and in Discord. I will actually remember to post the question this time. And in the meantime, we want to thank you all so much for listening to today's episode. Again, if you want to support the podcast at no extra cost to you, be sure to check out our affiliate links in the description down below for both TCG Player and Dragon Shield. And of course, with all of that said, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Take care, everybody.